Hi, good afternoon. This is Gene from Listening In Radio, KB9001MWDX, KB9001SWL, and of course my ham radio call sign WN9ZWC. Just want to touch bases with everybody. It's the 2nd of January, and Happy New Year, Happy 2025. And a couple things coming up. The shortwave and / medium wave contest is well underway. I've logged about 20 different stations, both on the medium wave or AM band and the shortwave bands myself. And for those of you who aren't familiar with it, I'll be dropping a link in a low bar to, and you can look it up on SWLing. It's SWLING.com. There's information there about the contest, and it starts January 1st, or started January 1st, and is going to the end of February. And again, I'll drop a link in the low bar in the description so everybody can get that information, and then I'll put it on the community section of my YouTube channel. And today, we're going to be unboxing a new radio, a new UHF VHF portable that I bought from a company called Talkpod. And I'm going to be doing an unboxing here of the A36plus Max Talkpod. And we'll get to that in just a little bit. So I was looking for a radio to kind of fill a void. I wanted to have a radio that I could leave in my outdoor shack, because I actually have two shacks. I have one in my workshop and one in the house, but I wanted to have a radio to leave here as an emergency radio inside of my workshop. So I was looking for something that was simple to use and inexpensive, and I ran into this radio through Amazon. And it's the A36 Plus, and it's manufactured, looks like Talkpod. This is kind of a new thing. This is the first time I ran into this. It looks like it's manufactured in Japan, which is a good sign. Usually good stuff comes out of Japan, and it has a very, it's not your typical manual, by the way. I want to mention that this is not, say, a Biofang manual, which are kind of poorly written. I've kind of went over this manual, and it's fairly well written, easy to understand, though the print could have been a little bit bigger, but I'm okay with that. I'll work with that because all the information is in here. But let me just get to unboxing this to see what we have here. The first thing I noticed on top was this programming cable. So it comes with a programming cable to program the radio. That's a really good thing. I'm glad they included it. It has the charger. It comes with the charger, and it appears to have it's a straight charger, but it also came with a USB cable, and it has I think they call this an S type, but don't quote me. I can't remember all these. It's not one of the miniature ones. It's the bigger plug for USB cable, but it also comes with a USB charger as well. Now, let me show you that. So here's, whoops, sorry, I almost knocked over the camera. So here's the USB charger, so you have that as well. So I'm going to have to research most of this, but here's the radio. And of course, in the battery, here's the battery pack. Let's just take that out. So there's the battery pack, pretty good sized battery pack, and this is a, it has their brand name on it, and this is a lithium-ion battery. So 3,200 megaamp hours is 7.4 volts. So just for your information. And here's the radio, and I decided to go with, rather than your typical black colored case. And I'm just noting here right now, is I'm actually pulling this apart and looking at it. This is the first time I've taken it out of the box, so we're both seeing it for the first time. It seems very well made. The case is very tight, and I'll get it charged up, of course. And here's the antenna as well. So it comes with a pretty long antenna, which is a really good idea, rather than a stubby rubber duck antenna. This has a bigger one, which is really good, because that makes for good transmitting and receiving. So that's a good thing. And of course, it has the obligatory carrying strap. These things are, well, that's what I think of those. And it has a clip. I will use the clip, or I'll buy a case for it, but more than likely I'll put the clip on it. So that's the unpacking in a nutshell. And what I'll do is we'll get it put together, and we'll see how to program it, and I'll come back on and we'll do the rest of the review here. Okay, so this is actually January 5th, so it's been a couple days since I started this particular radio review. It took me a couple of days to get my head together to figure out how to operate this radio. And again, this is on the Talkpod A36plus Max. And just to mention, this is a 5-watt radio, and that's your max out is 5 watts. I believe they make one that'll do 8 watts, but this one is a 5-watt radio. But with that said, let me go over what I found out about the radio. The first thing that I want to mention is the fact that it came with this USB charger, and with this, like I said, I believe this is a Type S, one of the big, like a cell phone charger. But the reason they gave me this, or it comes in a box, is because of battery, which is kind of cool. And this is a great idea. I like this feature on it. On the bottom here, you have a USB charger. It plugs in directly into the battery, so you don't actually need the charger. This could be taken along somewhere else, and I'm assuming the USB could probably plug into another like 12-volt source or to charge the radio inside of your vehicle, or the wall plug, which is really good. But this radio, as I said, I think it's a cut above the Biofang radios in that it's very different. It's built differently. The case is very tight. It's a very well built radio, and I think it's more professionally built than most of the Baofangs I've seen. But there's similarities with these radios to the Biofang, or how, I don't know how you pronounce it, but and the big thing is this double screen, as you can see, where you have on one level you have, or on the top part of the screen,
13, 1.
You have one transmit and receive box, and the other one on the bottom. You have an A and B, and you can either monitor or transmit on either one by switching to the screen A and B, whichever one you want to be on. But for me, that's a little confusing, and I don't know why they did it that way. And it also caused me some issues with programming and understanding the programming. Now, the one thing I like, this has a one-touch screen to get to your control panel, or your control menu, and it's just by pressing one press of the button, it brings you to each function on the same screen, which is kind of nice. But the other side of the coin here is that despite that, I tried to program this radio just by using the menu, and I found that something's coming in on, that's the B one, so that's a Des Moines repeater. But anyway, trying to program this through the menu was very difficult to do, and I could not get it to work the way I wanted it to work. I tried to go to the Talkpod website, and it wasn't real clear. I tried to download the programming software onto my laptop, which is Windows 11, and it just did not want to work correctly. But then I learned that Chirp, which I know there's a heck of a lot of complaints about Chirp programming software, that's for sure. But I decided I was going to go ahead and try Chirp to see if I could get it to work, and lo and behold, it did work. And I was able to program. I was able to program several frequencies into it. Some just a monitor. I have. Let's see here.
Up to 30
I have
miles an
national
hour.
weather.
Wind chill values as low as 7 below overnight. 11, 12.
And I have a couple railroad frequencies because I like to monitor railroad. And I'll probably put some more stuff in there too, as far as maybe if I can find any public safety channels, or is one public safety frequency that still does a simulcast for ambulance dispatches. I may put that in here, amongst other things. But I tried the radio, and if you see here on the top, that's the Grimes repeater, which is not too far from where I'm at, and that's a pretty good repeater. It has a nice footprint to it, and I was able to get into the Grimes repeater without any problem with this radio and have a conversation with somebody. The other repeaters, just in Iowa, the repeaters are kind of spread out here. I'm able to hit the Des Moines repeater and a Grimes repeater. Those are probably the closest ones, and the other repeaters are kind of distant. And because it's wintertime and it's only like 14 degrees out there right now, it was kind of difficult because during the summer months, you get those warm layers of atmosphere, and you can do some ducting and you can hit repeaters at a distance because the VHF or UHF signal tends to stay closer to the ground and makes it to the repeater. In this weather, it doesn't. The VHF or UHF transmission coming off your radio takes off into the atmosphere, and that was the case here. Generally, during the summer, I could probably hit maybe 2 more repeaters, maybe 3 if I'm lucky, from where I'm sitting at right now. But I wasn't able to do that. But I'm going to just write that up to, or chalk that up to winter conditions, and that's pretty normal. But overall, if you buy this radio, my recommendation is that you definitely download the Chirp software and program it through the Chirp software. It worked for me. Again, I've heard some complaints about Chirp, and I've had some problems with it in the past myself, so I could completely understand not wanting to deal with it. But again, I had a hard time trying to program it through the menu. Like I said, I'll show you the menu again. It's pretty straightforward when you see it, but when I got to trying to program each frequency, and again, people who program Biofing radios, this is kind of the same deal. It looks the same, it acts the same, and you have to program each channel in. So there's some issues. For me, it was just easier to have it on a spreadsheet on the Chirp software and look at it and then read the radio and then upload it to the radio. And it did work, which is good. And I was able to get in a repeater. I'm going to give this radio maybe 4 stars out of 5. And I'm giving it 4 stars out of 5 because it's a well-made radio. It seems pretty solid, and I like that. It's got a good-sized battery pack on it. And I got a good signal report. And of course, when I was talking in a Grimes repeater, I had to move around a little bit so they could hear me. But that's not atypical. That's pretty typical for any VHF handheld. You have to sometimes, especially where I'm at, I'm kind of in a low area. So I would expect somebody to say, yeah, you've got some bacon frying on your signal or you're breaking up. That's just so typical. That's not atypical. So that's not a deal breaker for me with this radio. I think it's a good radio. I think it has some good features. Just the downside for me, just like any radio that has to be programmed through a cable, it was just easier for me to get the software and do it. So that's my 2 cents on the Talkpod radio. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments, and we'll talk about it as we go along. I'm going to carry this for a while and keep it around and see how it performs. And if I have any more information, I'll drop it on the low bar in the comments section or maybe in the community section. But I appreciate your time. And this is Gene from Listening in Radio, KB9001MWDX, KB9001SWL, and of course my ham radio call sign WN9ZWC. But don't forget, the shortwave contest is going on right now. Hang on one second. Okay, the shortwave contest is going on right now. At this point, I've logged about almost 40 stations between medium wave and shortwave. So the information is on my community section in Listening in Radio. You could take a look there and check it out if you want to participate. And I've actually had a good time. I got a lot of noise around here now. I'm not sure what's up with that. Could be because people still have their Christmas lights up and maybe creating some noise. But overall, I was able to work around some of the problems and draw on some pretty good stations. So I'm pretty happy with the results so far. So, okay, good luck. Good DXing. Have a great time on radio. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.